Welcome. You're now part of another episode of the Respawn Podcast, your weekly update on all things God, gaming, and more nonsense than you're ready for. Rosa and Pastor Steven, bringing faith in video games right to your ears. Let's get this started.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What is up? What is crack-a-lackin'?
What's up? Oh, can you hear? You can hear me. Okay, we're just gonna move past the fact that you can hear my.
I heard it squeak a little bit, but it's okay.
My chair
it adds
squeak.
character.
It might have been my chair. It might have been my body making weird noises. We're just gonna move on. We're
Be honest.
What's up, Rosa?
You know.
How you doing?
Know. Chilling like a villain.
How's your week going?
It's going.
We haven't talked much. We really haven't, actually. We really haven't talked this much.
No. You've been sick.
I have been sick.
Cue the cough.
I have been sick.
Don't lie, you've got a little man in the corner with like those cards that says cough. Then we're gonna have one for the others to say applause.
A horrible month as far as sickness goes. We caught COVID like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I caught it, then my wife caught it. We had like a week of freedom, and then I got sick. Now my wife Kat is sick. So it's been one of those weeks.
That's tough.
Yeah,
What about the kiddos?
Kids are like leeches, man. They just take everything from you. They have energy that I don't have right now.
Yeah.
I know
that's the worst too, when you're sick and you feel like crap and your kid is just like
off the walls. So
like, why does this happen every time we're sick?
You'll get this because you're a parent. We're filming this on a Sunday. It was daylight savings time today, and everybody gained an hour of sleep except for parents.
Except for parents.
Does kids still wake? Like, does Noah? Does he sleep in, or does he just wake up?
He was awake at 6:30 this morning.
My kids too. 6:30.
Literally standing in the corner with he calls his blanket his gnat. I don't know why. Yeah. I think it's from whenever he was younger, he just kind of associated nap time with his blanket, he calls it that. But I literally woke up because I heard something, and I'm like looking. It's seriously like they picture it in the scary movies. Yep. You just see that toddler in the corner. Yeah. Well, I guess he's 6 years old now. He just had a birthday.
I came
home. So he's not a toddler anymore, but he's just in the corner, holding it.
I hear you. I came home one day from the church at 2 in the morning. I was at the church doing something, setting something up. I got home at 2 in the morning a couple months ago. I opened the door, and right 5 feet from the door, just staring at the door, is my 2-year-old. Blank face, just staring. I almost took out a 2-year-old. You've seen me get scared. It's quick.
You are a baby, actually.
I get scared so fast. I love it though. I love horror stuff, but I get scared.
I actually like it too, but I'm just a baby. I will seriously have nightmares about it.
I get scared for anything. I mean, you've seen my streams, the sounds on the stream. Even the nice ones scare me.
I feel like you could turn your volume up too high, and the windows would make the noise, and you'd be like, ah!
And that's why my windows are shut. How's your stream going?
Streams are good. I haven't been streaming a whole lot. I didn't really stream a whole lot this week.
Yeah.
I kind of did at the beginning, and then I've kind of fallen off. I don't know.
Same.
I kind of do this every time there's a new game, especially ones that require a lot of focus and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really like the initial everybody let's watch her suck.
So that's me every day. That is me literally every day. So
I gotta get off stream and do my little nerdy stuff away from you guys where I suck and I'm terrible, and then when I start feeling, which I'm still gonna be a potato.
I was gonna say, so what's your excuse
when you feeling a little bit better? What?
Well, what's your excuse when you do suck on stream?
It's just a bad day.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's probably because you smell. That's the excuse I'm going to start using. It's just,
you guys
lost that game because
we're not present, and none of you were present because this is a private conversation between Rosa and I. Before we jumped on this podcast, Rosa looked at me. First thing she said was, "You smell like cheese," and I freaked out because I had just eaten cheese. How you do that? I don't know. I'm still freaking out.
You. Bloodhound. No, but really, can we talk about like pregnancy noses?
What?
Did Kat ever tell you about like her sense of smell getting like absolutely insane when she was pregnant?
I don't remember that.
Have that conversation with her.
She was like, my wife was never like the typical pregnant woman. She never had cravings. I was actually annoyed. I like, as a guy, you look forward to like, wake me up at midnight so I can get you a grilled cheese with mayo on it. You know, like you look forward to that stuff. Nothing. And she never had problems. Like she's like the chillest pregnant woman in the world. So I don't know, maybe.
From the moment I found out I was pregnant until the moment that they cut him out of my body, I had morning sickness, threw up every so many minutes, hours every day. My like placenta started deteriorating with him inside of it.
I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was I mean, I had a like couple scares with like they were thinking that maybe I was gonna have a like extremely high blood pressure,
Yeah.
like pre-eclampsia.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be okay. I was blessed, honestly.
That's
I
awesome.
felt really good pregnant towards the end. Well, like middle end, I guess. When it started getting to the end, I was like, get this thing out of me. Like,
That's
I'm
exactly
so
what I
done.
was saying at the end.
I'm so over being pregnant at this point. Please get him out. Get him out. He is not paying his rent, man. Get him out.
10 months overdue.
I'm serving eviction notice.
Okay, I don't know what any of that is like, because clearly I'm on the other side of the pregnancy. But I feel for you. I feel for you. I feel like we should get into a review.
I've been on pregnancy talk, guys.
Let's get into a review.
Please, we can't afford a single slip up. They're judging us.
Review. Yes, good stuff. Here you go. Have a rate.
Okay.
All right.
Actually, review. We're gonna scratch it, and we're
Like how
gonna
you
do
did
a little questionnaire.
Did we get a question?
Yes. Well, Eric Crawford says,
Eric.
always wondered this for both, but when and why did you know your brands and continue to grow your brands?
That's a good question. I battle with that
You're
every
first.
day. I actually struggle with this every day, and here's why. When I started making content, so COVID hit, churches dismantled, and like nobody knew what they were doing. And I had like two students that I was trying to stay connected with. They were playing Modern Warfare. I actually hadn't even bought Modern Warfare yet at the time, because I was playing like other games at the time. So I bought Modern Warfare just to get on and play with them. Like we were playing Warzone, and so I could play multi with them. And it led to me hanging out with these students and getting a good connection with them, but then also them inviting their friends, and their friends being like, why is there a pastor in here? And then cursing and saying sexual things, inappropriate things. But it led to like me really clicking and vibing with all those people. And some of them were like teenagers, some of them were older guys. And one guy literally got saved. Like one night we were in a Call of Duty lobby, not a game, and this one guy who I'm still friends with, I play with him every now and then, was just like, hey, he asked me a question about a big topic, and we just sat there for 2 hours while everybody else just sat with their headphones on, and we just sat and talked for literally like an hour and a half, and like almost 2 hours. So then I got this idea. I was like, why is nobody doing this? Just having a stream where they're also talking about God. There was Dr. Do you know who Dr. Disrespect? No, not Dr. Disrespect. Dr. Witnesser. Did you ever see him?
I feel like is that the guy that just joins lobbies and asks some questions about God?
So he did it for a short while, and then he just was too intense, and it pivoted, and then just went down big time for him.
Mm.
But he was the only guy I saw at the time, and I was like, that's cool what he's doing, but what about like just vibing on stream and kind of encouraging people, kind of like what I do? And nobody was doing it, so I decided I want to do this. So I started making content on TikTok. Anyway, that's where it all started. That's why I'm pushing and growing it, because it's a big experience for me. My downside, though, is that my audience, I have a split in my audience. I have a huge following outside of Twitch. And then in Twitch, I have a much smaller following. And the reason is that I have this huge following of people that are looking for ways to understand the Bible easier. Like I did that as I made content. I did God and gaming, but I also like made it easier for people to understand the Bible. That blew up. But this other thing, the God and gaming thing, was like my passion. And now I'm at a crossroads where I've got 250,000 followers on TikTok, but I would say 90% of them, not 90, but like a big amount of them are these people that want to know the Bible and easier to understand. And I've got this small group that I love that want to do the God and gaming. And I'm really having a tough time balancing this because I'm struggling to do both. But
Yeah, no, I get that. But I don't know. Maybe you should push out more videos of those people that want to know more, and that like your videos on TikTok help them take the 2 steps out of their life that's going to take 30 seconds to come to your Twitch.
Maybe.
Where they could actively, like actually talk to you, basically.
You know what's funny? I actually have higher viewerships. Like I'm talking in the 30s when I'm just doing a Bible study on Twitch.
Yeah.
When I'm gaming and doing everything else is when my viewership goes down, which is okay.
Maybe
I
it's
enjoy
because you
it.
smell like cheese.
Maybe it's because I suck at the game, probably.
Maybe it's because you smell like cheese. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that.
What about you?
For me, honestly, this all kind of just, I don't know, fell together. Like, one of my friends one time, well, a couple of my friends one time, I started hearing it like more and more. Like, one time I'd be like, Rosa, I think you'd be like a really good streamer. Like, I think you should stream and da 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 da. Like, a couple days later, I play with another friend. They say the same thing. Oh, why am I hearing this so much? Maybe I should give this a chance. But I started like really like internalizing it and like thinking about it whenever I saw Tactical Grandma. Honestly.
Yeah.
She's 54 years old and is out there
cool.
giving forehead kisses. Like, she's awesome. And like being in her streams and like just seeing like she's just herself, because a lot of it for me was mental. Like, oh god, I'm gonna get on there and pick my nose, which I did. I'm gonna get on there and just like be total cheeks at the game, which I am. Like different things, or I'm gonna be annoying. I'm gonna talk too much. I'm gonna be too loud. Like, I'm gonna say stupid stuff that doesn't matter, which I do. But I got worried about that kind of thing at first, and then once I got over that. Ignore my screaming child, please, guys.
Don't even hear him.
Once I got over like that, I started thinking like, okay, so like almost all these like really good streamers, like they have like their genre, their niche, if you will. Like, what's gonna be my thing besides being a mom gamer? Like, well, what about that I put my faith out there? Like, what about if I don't want it to be all inclusive or all exclusive just to Christians, of course. Like, I want everybody to come in there and feel like that it's a safe place for them to be. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. For me, it was more of just kind of like a revelation in my head. Like, maybe this could go somewhere or be something, like, and plus it's given me a lot of ways to express myself, like I'm a stay-at-home mom, kind of low-key lost myself there for a while, and I feel like this is a way for me to get some of that built up creativity and all that stuff out.
Yeah, my wife says the same thing about being a stay-at-home mom, that like you're doing something for somebody else 24/7, basically, literally.
Yeah.
You need something for yourself.
I mean, there's been times I've like cooked a whole entire like meal, like, and just like, okay, that's over. He's eating. Everything's fine. And I'm like, I didn't even eat.
Yeah.
I didn't even eat. Like, what? And I'm like, oh, I didn't eat. And I go back over there and it's cold and like grungy and like, oh man.
I think it was somebody in my stream or in my Discord, just so you know, that was like, Rosa is, I think when we announced that we were doing this, one of my Twitch mods, her name is Sassinator. No, not Sassinator. Her name is Sassy Mangle. They both have similar names. She was like, I watched Rosa because of you. Like, I found you. Then I found Rosa, and Rosa is like streamer goals, like streamer mom goals. So you're killing it.
My cold little heart.
Your cold little.
Thank you for that.
Eric, thank you so much for the question
That was a
slash.
good question. That was a good
Yeah.
question.
Guys, drop a review whether you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening to the audio version on Spotify, Apple, or any of the platforms. Drop a review. Not only does it help us big time push content out, it helps us with the algorithm, but also we want to read a review or answer a question every single episode. You never know, yours could be chosen. So drop it either in the comments if you're watching the video version on YouTube, or drop a review on Apple or Spotify. Well, not Spotify, because you can't on Spotify. On Apple or any of the other music platforms, drop a review.
So if you are on Spotify or Apple and you have not came to
Come
see
on
our
over.
beautiful faces on the YouTube, please come over there so you can see
Check this
Steven
out.
smelling like cheese. Well, I guess you can't really see
Can't
that.
really
but-
see it. But picture. Remember the picture smells from magazines?
Oh, I used to
Scratch and
ooh.
sniffs.
Yeah.
Guess what
My
countries we're
favorite
in?
were the perfumes, like sit and smell a piece of paper for 14 hours. Just
Yeah.
kidding, not that long, but
Oh.
I'm
never
pretty sure I
lasted that
probably
long.
did it long enough that if somebody saw me, they would probably question my mental stability.
Rosa, take a wild guess. What is the number one country that we are in right now for the podcast? This should be an easy one.
Oh, United States?
We're in the USA by a
Yeah, I
whopping
want it to be Jamaica so bad.
86%. But I've got some good news for you. We are in Europe. Our second one is in Europe. Would you like to take a guess at what country we are in?
Hey!
What country are we in for Europe? And I mean like a pretty good percentage. Are you thinking?
I don't know, just tell me.
We are in. Do you want to know all the countries? Like our top 5?
Yes, every
Okay.
single one.
I'm going to give you our top 5 outside of the USA. Super excited. We're going to cue a drum roll in right now. We are in Germany, number 1. It's our number 1 country outside the USA. South Africa as a whole. We are in. Check this
We're in
out.
Africa?
I thought that they would list South Africa by cities. And no, they listed it just like full, like
How much percentage?
South Africa. We
Yeah.
are in. That's 5% of our viewing. About yeah. I
I
think we're so spread out in South Africa because the way our metrics work, South Africa is a country, but the way our metrics work, a lot of the bigger countries will break it down by cities. And I think we're just so spread out right now that like South Africa doesn't even break it down by cities. It just shows us. It's pretty cool. It just shows us
Yeah.
that we're spread
that
out
makes
there.
sense.
I'm gonna butcher this one. Suriname. Suriname. If you know how to spell this, please let me know in your review or in your comments. Pronounce
Wait,
it.
I've got to actually like write it down.
If you're listening or
See,
watching, let us know if you know how to pronounce this. Suriname, like Suriname.
I missed it again. Suri.
Name, Suriname.
N-
We're there. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, but we're there. We're in Hungary, and then racking in our top 5, we are in the good old Canada, eh?
Oh, wow.
Canada.
That's so cool.
We are there, and then we can break down cities, but we'll do that another day. But yeah, we are in outside the USA. We're in more, but those are our top 5.
We're in
countries.
Africa.
We're in
I
South
want to go to Africa so bad. That's actually like ever since I've been a child.
Yeah.
Like I want to. I've always wanted to go to Africa. Any part. I don't even care which part. I want to see.
You don't care what country.
I don't know. I want the whole Lion King vibes. I need it. I don't even care if there's no animals. Like just flat. Like just take me to a flat, like looking dusty old area with like a watering hole. Like I would be so happy. And I need the Jeep too, with like a few tourists.
Gotcha. Thank you guys for the review.
One of them has to have a buoy hat on. Sorry. Thank you guys for coming to my dreamland.
Rose's TED Talk. Thank you guys again for the review and the comments. Again, it helps us out massively. Make sure you drop a comment. If you're listening right now, just pause us. drop a review, drop a comment on the YouTube if you're listening there. Let us know if you're enjoying everything. Let us know any questions that you guys have, and we'll pick another one next episode and answer another review. Read another review or answer another question. Thank you guys again for helping us push this out to all the countries that we're in and all the views that we get. Seriously, we love that you guys are sharing the podcast on Instagram or wherever it is, and we're just appreciative of you guys.
If you also really love us and you're watching us or listening on one platform, please visit the others as well.
Open up Apple and the YouTube. Put us in the background while you work. We make a good wallpaper. Let's get into some God.
Here's your wallpaper.
Talk about God, and let's talk about
faith.
Okay, let's hear it.
Right before we did that, did you say Rosa stop talking?
No,
I swear I heard Rosa stop talking.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Now I wish I
love
did,
your
because
Star
that
Wars
would have been funny. Thank you. That would have been funny. Okay, today's God topic is, I feel like this is going to be a heated one, not for you and me, but I feel like people listening are going to have opinions. So if you guys have opinions on this, drop it in the comments.
Oh.
But let's talk church services. Because I feel like we've come really far from what they look like in the Bible.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody has their opinion on church services. I've been in many. I can tell you what mine is like currently.
I've been in quite a few as well.
And like,
But
I don't know, like, I get bored of, I'm a pastor, and I'm saying out loud, I get bored of church. I literally get bored of church.
I get bored too.
Not
but
like of what's happening, but I
my
get
biggest
bored of the
issue
routine.
with it all though is like it's just so culty sometimes. Like
So yeah, that's I think the problem. I think, and it's culty
big
because
problem.
we've made traditions.
yeah.
Like they have to.
And I think that honestly is a massive L.
yeah,
I think
like,
traditions are good, don't get me wrong, like don't take that the wrong way, but at the same time I think that has kind of like here's actually God and like the focus being around him and like bringing people to like know him better and things like that, but then here is make sure that my little clique and stuff are good and like me and make sure that I have my social status is like the biggest thing.
Problem, I think, where it came from, this is just my opinion, is that like, so the Bible says that like the gathering of the believers, like the church, is to to shepherd the people and grow the people. It's not necessarily, this is going to sound weird at face value, hear me out, it's not necessarily to get unsaved people saved. Like that's actually not what the church gathering is for. The church gathering is so that the church could gather. And I think the downside is that because of that, like I hate, it sounds like I'm saying that's bad, but because of that, we've put such a focus on the people who come that we've made church such a turnoff to the people who would want to come.
Yeah.
Thus, sometimes I think church
That
can be
doesn't sound
boring.
bad at all. That's
You know what I mean?
real.
I think that's
That's
why it could
real.
be boring.
Yeah.
Because we've made
Like,
it.
I think there needs to be more. I don't know. I think there needs to be more just transparency too.
And I think
I
this
mean,
also depends what church
you
you
got
go
people
to.
in there that's
obviously.
like that you would feel. I don't know. You feel like they're just like the role model Christian, and I don't know. And then you go start going through stuff, and you want to talk to somebody about it, and you're like, man, I think it would be cool to go talk to role model Christian 124 over there. Like, but then you do, and it's just kind of like one-sided. Like, I think that we should share our struggles with each other. Like, you've been completely open and honest about things that you've struggled with, like live on stream, as have I. I think that's really, really important, and I feel like that doesn't happen a whole lot in church because they're afraid, like, which I understand, like, there's some guilt and there's some shame and different things around it, but you never know when, like, a little ear will be listening and be like, oh my gosh, he's going through what I'm going through right now, like, there's a way out, like...
Well, I think the problem, too, is, like, talking of churches and church services, we've made it a big deal of who's on stage. And it is a big deal. Like, it is. You got to, you don't just want to have any pastor walk in the building and start talking.
Right.
But at the same time, like, we've elevated the people that have been chosen to a higher quality.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the Bible, don't get me wrong, the Bible talks about, like, teachers are going to be judged more and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying that, like, we're no different on God's spectrum as far as, like, human beings. We're all, we're sinners. So I think years ago, my current pastor, he's 63, I think, or 62, and he looks like he's 40. Like, the dude is jacked. It's like he's been going to Gold's Gym since he came out the womb. Like, anyway, he told me one day, he was like, yeah, I think years ago people wanted their pastors to be bulletproof. He's like, but I've noticed your generation, like talking about millennials, like us, Gen Z, you guys want your pastors to be real. He's like, and I think the church messed up to 15 years ago, wanting their pastors to just be bulletproof. And like any slip up was denounceable. Like you made a mistake and you're out the pulpit, sage, where it's like, well, maybe we could just talk about it. I'm not talking
I think
big
that's
things,
really important, honestly.
So I've just decided, like, for me, I'm gonna be open.
I remember being young and, like, honestly, like, I'll be honest with you, I used to think that about, like, pastors and, like, people of like leadership and stuff. Like, I was like, man, these are, you know, the chosen ones, like
chosen, frozen,
but
frozen, chosen.
I think it was like, it wasn't even a church that I went to. It was actually a friend of mine's. Whenever I was a little younger, and I remember going to her church with her and seeing this person. He was the pastor.
Yeah.
And, like, just thinking the world of him. And then, like, a couple months later, like, we find out that he was actually having an affair. And, like, it was a big, big blowout for him.
A big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. But, like, at the same time, that's when it, like, really, like, clicked in my head. Like, man, they're people too. Like,
I think we need to do a better job. We're kind of all over the place, but, like, church services, I think we need to do a better job of making it that, like, people can share the, like, problems that are happening, because I think we're keeping things a secret because we don't want anybody to know that we have, let's say, a porn addiction. We don't want anybody to know that we have that, so we're keeping that a secret in church. But then what's happening is, because we're keeping it a secret, it's growing, and then it leads to a bigger problem, like, like what you said that the pastor just went through. I'm sure it didn't start there, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it didn't start there, but, like, it's always, like, something that trickles down, and we've made it a culture of, like, we don't share stuff that's going on. And I don't know if that's the case. I feel like, I think I told this to my youth group one time. I was like, sometimes your biggest, like, impact is going to be when you're inside of the prison, like, you feel like you're inside of the prison, and you're letting the other people know it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be on the opposite side. That's great, to be on the other side and be like, guys, I made it through. But it's another, it just, imagine you were in prison and, like, you felt hopeless and everybody's down, and that one person next to you was like, we can do this. Prison's a bad example, but you know what I mean? Like, we could do this. We can get out.
That's a great example. And
I feel like everybody wants to share when they've made it out, and nobody's sharing when they're in the cells, so then everybody stays in the cell.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do a better job.
That would be major progress. That would be major progress. But I think you also have to be careful whenever you're, like, looking at churches and stuff to make sure you're not being too finicky sometimes.
For sure.
I've caught myself doing it before. I've literally went to a church and I'm like, oh, they got drinks and blankets in the sanctuary. This ain't no place for me.
You don't like blankets?
Because, like, I think it's because of my upbringing. Like, I was raised, I had a really rough childhood, but when I really started getting into church, I was living with my grandma. So, like, we went to old people church. Like, traditional, like, crazy. And it was always pounded in my head, no water.
Oh, okay.
And that's if you're just you need a drop, like, you're quenching. And, like, little church candies. Y'all know what I'm talking about, little strawberries and the little mints.
The little gold ones.
Those two are the only ones that are acceptable. Anything else, you out. But, like,
we have a lady at our church.
I remember the first time I went to, like,
I'll tell you this.
I don't know, it was just really different for me. Like, I walked in, it was like I was in American Eagle or Hollister. Like, it was like hipster. It was like, I don't know. They had they had a coffee bar.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe I could get used to this.
You know what's the
But
funny?
then all those like old traditional like things started coming back in my brain. Like, oh, you're in the Lord's house and you're in there. You like that could spill.
It's tradition.
I would have
versus what
I
God
would have
says.
so much anxiety.
Yeah.
Like the very first time I actually like took coffee into the sanctuary, I was having trouble focusing on the pastor because I was scared to death I was going to spill that in God's temple and I was going to be like struck by lightning and like shot down on the site.
I spilled communion one time.
Oh,
So spill your
my
coffee.
God.
You're not gonna top that. Yeah,
oh,
I
you spilled communion.
like they spread out. I had mine. it just went, and
I would have cried for 4 weeks, bro.
You know, it was a big church. It was the church I got saved at, and I just kind of let it be. I was like, you know what? I'm good. The
That's
Lord
good.
knows I'm good. I'm not gonna make this any bigger than it needs to be.
I tend to
That's funny.
do that.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I've been to a vast variety of different churches, and I've seen a lot of different things. And I think sometimes we make these weird traditions of how things have to go. Like we have to have 3 songs, and a message. And I'm saying, yeah, we should have that. But like, we should also have some freedom, to move things around
Yeah.
sometimes if we want to. We don't have to do it a certain way or have a certain music or, we just need to do kind of what the Bible says. And honestly, besides what the Bible says, there's a lot of freedom outside of that.
Oh yeah, back to what I was talking about with the coffee and stuff.
Yeah.
Like once I went home, like I didn't go back for a little while. I didn't go back for like 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks because I was like, that's not the church for me. Until one day I was like really sitting down thinking about it, and I was like looking at all the notes that I took and the message that was
Yeah.
there. It's like I was so focused up on like the tradition that I was actually missing like good messages that
happening?
were good for me, that were feeding me.
Yeah.
So that's when I went back and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna partake in this coffee. Like, I got myself a coffee, but then it was I don't
Yeah,
know, it was really
true.
good. But that pastor ended up moving like to Texas or something. So but it was a really good church. I really was super comfortable there. But it was just so different for me because you're talking about like going to church with 70s, 80s, 90s, some like 40s and 50s.
Dang.
That was like the churches that I've been a part of. And then I went into
Dang,
like
yeah.
they got skinny jeans with holes in them.
Holy, more jeans. The more holes you have, the holier
You got your
are.
church jeans on, girl. I see you. And then, like the
Holy
pastor's
Spirit
got like
jeans.
like a fade. Like he's got a fade and they're up there and they're like singing like contemporary Christian music and I'm
Yeah.
just like, dang, this is good.
I know, and like, who says you can't do
I
that?
loved it.
It was like a belief.
Nobody.
but
That's
it was
what I'm saying.
It was this belief that like you have, if you're gonna go to church, you have to look this way, like this certain
Right.
way.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you are making it really hard for everybody else to come in dressed normally. Because this is not how you guys
that was
dress
me.
throughout the week.
I literally felt that.
And
then
I get
like,
it,
once
like
I was in there, I was just like, man, this feels so much
I
different.
get
Like
why.
I felt like I could be comfortable. I
like,
remember going to church like whenever I was younger and stuff with the more traditional style stuff. Like I would go there, I would feel like if I blinked wrong, like off beat or something, like something was gonna come for me.
I mean, to their benefit, like, I get why. Like, you want to give God, the whole idea is, like, you want to give God your best. So you go Sunday with your Sunday best, and that ended up being your attire
Exactly.
and all that. I totally get that. I also I feel like churches are like politics. You have people all the way here on your left side, and then you have people all the way here on your right side, and they hardly ever meet in the middle. And like, to give you an example, is you have like, I go to a Baptist church right now, but you have, so I'm not knocking on them. You have like your hardcore Baptists who are like, you can't even dance, like, at worship. Like, you moving your hips a little bit too much. You need to be praying. And then you have hardcore Pentecostal. And I got saved at a Pentecostal church. I'm talking hardcore Pentecostals over here that are like, if you don't move, you're not even saved. And it's like, why don't we just kind of hang here where we all could vibe? But nobody's doing that, and I think that's why we got these traditions, and why people sometimes you go to a church and you're like, I don't want to go here because it's
Yeah.
all one way. It's either super, super, super modern or
That
super,
has
super,
turned people
super old
away
school.
too.
Yeah.
Like I literally have a friend that was like, I'm not going back to that church because I did
Yeah.
during worship and stuff, I did not see one person raise their hand. Nothing.
Exactly.
She was like, it's not it for me. I want to get in there and I want to raise my hands. I want to shout. I want to, you
And
know.
I've learned, like, going to all these different types of churches that, like, it's great to raise your hand. I love it. Like, I'm more of that type of worship. Like, I like more modern,
too.
you know, etc.
Yeah.
But I've also found that, like, sometimes passion doesn't necessarily equal obedience. And, like, you could be raising your hands on a Sunday and doing a lot of other stuff Monday through
Oh,
Saturday.
yeah.
And on the flip side, I've gone to churches where, like, I look at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish you guys were more alive. But then I'm like, but you really godly. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just wish we would meet in the middle with church services. As a whole, I don't know how we can get there. Honestly, I really don't know, especially right now with, like, I feel like every church is divided and even more divided. Now we should be unity, especially right now with everything that's going on. But, like, I feel like everybody's so divided. And, like, I don't know how we can get to the middle ground, because I feel like every church feels like they have to take a stance on something. What type of music are we gonna play? How long is the message gonna? You know what I mean? Like, they have to take a stance on everything. And I get in trouble because I'm not like that. I'm very much so kind of like middle grounded, and, like, I don't want to take a stance on things, which doesn't really make for a good pastor. You kind of want your pastor to know, like, you go to a church and you want to know, like, hey, pastor, what do we believe about blah 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 blah? And there's some things that I've got hardcore doctrines in, and then there's some things that I'm like, you know what? It's a Baptist church, but maybe we not right about that one. I don't know. So I try to tell my
What?
students.
No,
and this is
to
where
me, that's a W.
I know, but this is where, like, I've gotten in trouble before. Not necessarily at my church, but as the type of pastor that I am, I'll have a student ask me a question, and my pastor knows how I am now. But, like, I'll have a student ask me a question, and, like let's say let's not get into this for the podcast. I'm just gonna use this as an example because this is we could discuss this next episode.
Okay.
But, like, a student will say, "Hey, Pastor Steven, what's your idea on speaking in tongues?" Right? That's, like, something that gets talked about a lot. And then I'll respond to them and I'll tell them, "Hey, here's what our church believes, and here's what I think. Here's the Bible. Form your own opinion." I will never, like,
good.
and I'll never treat one better than another. And my pastor's the same way. Like, we go to a certain style of church, but the pastors on staff, there's 3 to 4 of us. We all kind of believe different things about certain things, but we can vibe together, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what you need. You need that.
That's where it's good. That's where it's good. Especially if you can have healthy communication of
Yeah.
why. You know, and it doesn't get, like, dark and ugly and twisted and nasty like that. I've had
Yeah, that's the goal.
Christian friendships ruined over stuff like that, honestly. Well, I guess not ruined, but it's gotten pretty sour.
Oh, it's such a shame. It's so. I wish Christians. I wrote this on my Twitter yesterday. Actually, didn't even know what we were going to talk about today, but I wrote this on my Twitter yesterday. I was like, opinion you didn't ask for. Christians should spend more time sharing the gospel than arguing about little things. And I really like, Christian TikTok is so annoying to me because the comments are just filled with everybody debating about.
I made a TikTok about that once. Like, I don't care for denominations. Sorry. Like, I go to a Baptist church though, and
Yeah, same. I go to Baptist church. I don't care anything about them though. Like, I just
I
happen
just
to go to
don't
this
really. Yeah, somebody asked me what denomination I am. I'm like,
church.
don't think that's real.
I
think
had
that's just
this is-
more things to
Oh my gosh.
cause division, honestly. Like,
is the
and it
first
can.
time.
Another thing too, it confuses the heck out of new believers.
Like, I get
I
it.
think,
I
or
get
people that's
why.
searching for, like, you know, they haven't been saved yet, but, like, they're curious and whatnot, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I wanna get to church. I wanna, like,
Here's my opinion.
you know,
I
have my spirit
get it.
fed, and then they're like, okay, let me look at my phone and look at all these churches, and it's like Pentecostal, Baptist.
So here's the thing. I
You know,
get it. I get it 100%. Like, as a pastor, as you'll talk to people in my community, like, I get why we have denominations. I'm totally okay with it. What I don't get is waving the denominational flag. Because when you're waving the flag, you're showing it out for all to see, not just Christians to see. And I remember going to a conference, I think like 2 years ago, and this guy, he's really good at kind of predicting trends. He was like, one of the trends I see is that if you wave your denominational flag, your church is going to be a negative to the new generation because they don't want that. It gets viewed as a separation, not unity. So like you could be Baptist, you could be Pentecostal, you could be whatever, but you shouldn't be waving that to the community. You should be waving Christian to the community. And then if you have that you're Pentecostal, Baptist, whatever, that's cool. It's great for people to know what you believe, especially if they're a Christian. You know, I'm a Christian, I just got to my city. That's cool. I want to know what you guys believe. But that shouldn't be what you're waving. You know?
I feel like I don't get denominations at all. Like, explain it to me. Like,
So,
I feel like...
Oh, all right. Well, let's go here.
No, we're detailed.
So there's nothing bad about having some minor disbeliefs. Like in the Bible, Paul talks about how we've got to focus on the majors. The majors need to be the right thing. But the minors we can disagree on. And those minor things are like how we worship and a couple other stuff, but we can disagree on those, right? That's okay. And to give you an example of like something like this happening similar in the Bible is Paul is spreading the gospel with this guy named Barnabas, and then they have a disagreement. Like they have a heavy disagreement. We don't know what the disagreement's about. It's in Acts chapter 9, maybe, I don't know, somewhere around there. They have a disagreement so much that they can't do ministry together because it's a big deal to them. Not a big deal to the faith, but a big deal to them. So what do? Paul and Barnabas split. Paul ends up meeting Timothy. Barnabas ends up meeting somebody, I forgot who it is. They keep spreading the gospel. You could take that at face value and say, wow, look, well, Barnabas was in the wrong because Paul, is so great, blah, blah, blah. But then you read later on that Barnabas was accounted for, meaning that like he was good actually. They just had a disagreement and they're like, hey, it's better if we separate, dude. So that we could be more effective for the community, it's better if we separate. Thus started that's not the start of denominations, but that's just like an idea to give you an idea of like what they're coming from. You have two churches, like let's say Baptist and Pentecostal, because we're picking on them right now. Pentecostals believe when you're worshiping and when the Spirit hits and all that, there is this charismatic movement, almost uncontrollable, that happens. That's why if you go to like a Pentecostal church, especially like a hardcore one, you'll see kind of people falling
on the floor.
Right, exactly. Yeah. We'll skip that for this episode. But then you have Baptist churches, right, on this side that are like, no, you should. Even when you're in the Spirit, the Bible says that you should have control. You should never lose control ever. So they go over here where almost their worship is almost visually dead. I'm not saying it is dead. I go to a Baptist church, but visually it looks dead. Over here it looks, So who's right? Does it really matter? I don't know, right?
It doesn't.
But so then that's where denominations happen, where they're like, hey, we really want to worship this way. These people are like, hey, we really want to worship this way.
Sense.
And
Makes sense now.
Like, it's kind of like the United States, right? Like the United States is the big thing. That's like Jesus and our faith. The federal laws have to be the same. But California has very different laws than Florida. But they still part of the USA. We could rock together. Like when times of war come, California and Florida get together because we're part of the USA. Can vibe together, even though there's minor differences in our law, right? You go to Florida right now.
School right now.
You go to Florida right now, no mask mandate. You go to California, mask mandate everywhere. But the major laws are still the same. You kill somebody, Florida, California, you go into jail in the USA. So denominations are okay. Technically, you should be able to vibe together always. The problem is like California and Florida. And you should be able to go through each other. The problem is we've made it so big deals that it's like, I can't go to your church ever. That's a problem. Because now you're saying it's like USA and Canada or USA and Mexico. That's a whole nother country. Yeah, we can't play with them. That's a whole nother country. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So denominations are cool. I get them. I just don't get why we're waving them so big. That's my whole thing. Like, there's this guy in my Discord. His name's Tom. He's a great guy. Actually, you were talking about him earlier. He said that his ideal church, I think it was Tom, said his ideal church is like Baptists with a non-denominational's worship, with like Baptist with a non-denominational website because they made cool websites with a Pentecostal worship. He was like, I just wish they all just got together and like we were like, non-denoms, you make the website.
Sounds kind of lit.
Right?
That might be my church too.
Anyway,
That, honestly,
I spent a lot of time talking about this.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I wish we'd be more middle grounded with church services.
I feel like there are some churches too that like take worship and stuff like super. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I literally I've met a woman before that said like I didn't get chills or anything during that entire.
Sounds like a personal
in
problem.
The worship. Like the Holy Spirit must have just not been there. Like, girl, what you saying?
That's a personal problem.
You can get like let me get an example in my head. Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
She can get up there and sing about like a love song and it'll give you chills. Does that mean I got the Holy Spirit from that song? That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Like the Holy Spirit isn't like indicative if like chills are if you've got chills, that's like indicative that you've felt the Holy Spirit. That's not how that works.
I feel like we just covered so many topics
in
one. Let's get into gaming.
Yeah.
Video games.
My favorite.
Games! I love games. I'm great at games.
Okay, so biggest news this week, obviously, Vanguard dropping. Can we talk about Vanguard first?
Let's talk about it because it's been on my mind all day.
Let's talk about it, Rosa. Rosa didn't know I was going to do this. She has no idea where this is going to go. So I got to drop some news and a bomb on all of our listeners that your co-host is a liar. We're going to call her out today. Okay, Rosa. So here's what happened, chat.
Liar.
I say chat like we're live.
Those are some heavy accusations,
They're real.
my man.
They're real. So let's talk about this, Rosa. So I was surprised to see Rosa playing Warzone on lunch night because what you guys don't know is she's like, because about a couple days before, I was like, hey, are you going to play on lunch night? And Rosa's response was, I'm not going to get the game till about 2. Do you remember this conversation? Till about 2 weeks later.
But wait. I'm coming at you swinging. In my major defense, shout out to Wiki, my amazing mod, who gifted me the game literally like the night before launch. So in your face.
So then I told my community because they were asking about you, and I was like, oh, she's not gonna be on because blah 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 blah. Then somebody from my community is like, Pastor Steven. As a joke, they're like, Pastor Steven, I think she lied to you, bro. She's playing Vanguard right now. I just want to say, I never talked to Rosa on launch night, but I heard that she was playing Vanguard.
I was most definitely on Vanguard.
Well, now I know who my real friends are.
Thumbs on the stick, sweating, everything.
Now I know who my friends are.
But in my defense, I did not know that I was going to be getting Vanguard. Wiki came through and gifted me it through the battle net.
Okay, now that we are slightly
and
friends
I've been
again,
on that.
Now that we're slightly friends again, what are your thoughts on Vanguard?
You know what? You gonna throw that at me? Yeah, take a sip of your Star Wars Yoda cup. My thoughts on Vanguard, I'm having so much fun. Honestly.
What's your favorite part?
I do think that there's some like little things like I feel like sometimes my camos aren't tracking. Like
probably game just came out.
Yeah, like just stuff that's acceptable right now, honestly. Like
what's your favorite part?
What do you mean?
So
favorite part?
I'll give you mine. I think the whole voting at the end of a match, who the heck is MVP,
voting
is
the
a
voting
W.
Is super cute. Yeah, it's super cute.
So fun.
I'm glad that they did that. One thing I don't like though is if Billy Bob 124 is running by my screen and I put like 2 or 3 bullets in him, but then my teammate finishes him off.
That's always been the case.
No, but don't let that count as an elimination for me.
Oh,
if I see the
what
word elimination pop up, I want it to be mine. I want to wreck that guy's face and wax his eyebrows off. That was me that
Most
did
people
that.
are actually happy
Give
about
me
that.
that one.
Most people are
But
happy
there should
about
be
that.
like, yeah, I mean, there would be, but they're probably like taking pictures at the end of their screen, like, look, bro, got 30 kills. And really, they only got like 12 because their teammate finished all those other ones.
Gotcha.
You know, I wanted to pop up and say assist. Like, give me an assist.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That'll be good. Or you tap this man. Like, okay, that's acceptable for me.
I think the general consensus though is the game is definitely a W.
Oh,
Movement
definitely.
is great.
Movement, I've struggled a little bit. Like, I think it's good. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's something like my settings. Like, I think
a couple of people have recommended a few setting changes because they're still making tweaks to the movement.
Yeah.
So there's some setting changes you can do to make slide canceling better and a few other things, and people have said, it's great after.
I know. I saw that TikTok, and guess what? I did it, and it's like something about mantling. But you know what it also screws up? Whenever you're actually trying to mantle, you've got to like sit there and like play jump. Like you've got to sit there and just jump like repeatedly in front of something to try to mantle it. I don't know how many windows I've tried to get through, or like little tiny boxes that I'm trying to mantle up on, and if I swear there's just a sniper on the other side of the map just like watching me, it's like, what is she doing?
I love the game mode Patrol. You played it?
I have not. I've
love it.
TDM, Domination, and that like Hardpoint. That's like, and I did do the Champion of the Hill though. That was fun. If you have not done Champion of the Hill, you need to.
I have. I didn't love it yet. I didn't love it, but I played it like the first couple minutes. We went through all the game modes. The people that I was playing with, we went through every single game mode, and I loved it. It's a good game. I'm really excited for it to drop into Warzone. I think if you have the game, you should be grinding right now this month because these guns. Listen, Activision is not a stupid company. They are going to make money. If you think that on launch, when the Warzone map comes out in a month, that when these guns get dropped, if you think that your Modern Warfare loadouts are going to match at launch with these guns, Activision is not a stupid company. They're going to make sure that these guns are just a little bit better than all the others. So
1 month.
This is the time to grind, level up all these weapons because you have no idea what's going to be in the meta. Level up all these guns, and I'm excited to use. I'm not excited for Vanguard. I'm excited to use Vanguard in Warzone and for the map to drop and to use these weapons.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Caldora, however you're going to be pronouncing that. Caldora, whatever. Have you spent like a lot of time on it? Like, have you went through all the maps?
I've been sick this week. I've played the majority of it, but I haven't grinded. Like, I've got one of the assault rifles, I don't remember the name, leveled up, and I haven't really gotten to do anything else because I've been sick. So this week, starting today, I'm trying to catch up, basically.
I'm Prestige.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And I've got to get the point blank kills, and then I'll have a gold gun. So
she's also been sleeping at her computer and showering there as well.
I have not. I've been taking breaks. I've been taking massive breaks, actually.
What about so Battlefield? Have you ever played Battlefield?
Yeah.
Battlefield comes out in a couple days.
I actually would like to have that game.
So
at this point, though, like with any just gaming period, like I would go play Minecraft right now.
I mean, I think we're in a W with gaming right now. We've got games launching all over the place right now. Holiday season, it makes sense. But I don't know how I feel about Battlefield. It's coming out. I'm curious to see what other people are going to say. I watched. They were probably sponsored, but I watched Tim, Nick, Cloaksy, and those guys play it when the beta came out. And I didn't love it. I also judge a lot of my reactions on Nick.
A lot of bad things about the beta.
Yeah, and like Nick's reaction and Tim's reaction were very much like, I can't wait to stop playing this game so we can go back to play something else. The coloring, I mean, they're probably going to fix all this and it's going to be a good game, I'm sure. The coloring was just really off, but like for having so many problems with the beta, I'm not a big Battlefield player, so I'm not going to pick up the game initially. If it looks good and people are playing it, I'll buy it. I'm just not going to go run and buy it. But I am curious to see what people say. We don't have to talk much about it, but Battlefield's coming out.
Yeah, I kind of want to like watch somebody play it just to see.
Yeah.
That's what I've done with a lot of games like Valorant and Overwatch and like things like that. I would just like peep in on people's streams,
Yeah.
watch it, and I'm like,
What
not for me.
about? Did you hear what happened with YouTube Gaming this week?
I know that it's gonna be taken over.
So, okay, so there's Twitch, obviously. There's Facebook. We're not even going to talk about them because they're still trying to figure out what they're doing right now with Facebook Gaming. They're getting so desperate to try to get views that they're giving their community 100% of the subs, like 100%. And you want to hear this? Check this out. You get a commission on top, so you get an extra bonus.
Oh my goodness
So like
gracious!
for each sub, you get like a 10% or whatever, 20% increase, up to $5,000 a year. They're giving you extra money because they want people that bad. So we don't have to go and see Facebook. But YouTube is a huge competitor. And we've never really talked here on podcasts like why people are going to YouTube and why Twitch. And we don't necessarily have to, but like YouTube just announced, this is what people were complaining about, that because they didn't have this, that they're going to have gifted subs soon. They're dropping that. Because that's not a big part of their revenue thing. It's more just like giving money to the streamer. But the recurring thing is not a big deal. So gifted subs are coming. Raids, like a version of raids, is coming to the platform. That's huge. And then one or two other things. But it was a huge announcement giving like all these other people have already switched to YouTube.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I do think it's interesting that YouTube is doing what it's doing. I have my opinions on Twitch and YouTube.
Me too. But I'm gonna just keep them in my pocket.
I mean, I've been pretty vocal lately. I have opinions on both platforms. I feel like I wish I was CEO of both platforms. I would probably burn the companies down. But for like a day, we'd be good for like a day if I was the CEO. I'd make some good changes.
I feel like, I don't know. Twitch needs something.
I can tell you what Twitch needs.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. Twitch needs like a little. You make a little funny clip of me picking my nose, and a lot of people are viewing that stuff and sending it out. That should move
Twitch
to other
needs
people's
a For You page.
Yeah, it needs like a little For You page.
And like I would just sit there.
Something with some kind of discoverability.
I like your content. Oh, you're live. Boom! Like a For You page that gets sent out.
Yeah.
That one of your people from your community could clip it. Because what's the point of clipping right now? I mean, majority of people are not watching VODs. You don't.
They're just clipping it that way they can take it to TikTok or some other platform where you have to go if you want to.
Why do you think big streamers are
grow your channel?
Are posting their VODs on YouTube? People go to YouTube to watch it. They're not watching it on Twitch. So they're useless. But like if Twitch used that and put it as like a For You type thing, like a TikTok where you scroll through clips, and you saw one that you liked and you followed, or they're live and I swiped and you took me to the live stream, game changer. And then it would be fair because what they came out with now is a pay to win, which is totally okay. I don't care. That's everywhere. Facebook advertising, you can do that on TikTok. You can pay to boost your stuff. I don't care about that. However, you're not going to get quality streamers if there's no way for them to show their quality content.
What? I didn't even know that.
You get what I mean? The pay to win?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pay now to boost your Twitch stream on the main page. You can do that now. That was their big announcement, which is okay. I'm not against that. Every platform has that. Like, a lot of streamers were complaining.
I feel like that's not going to be, like, genuine people, though. Like,
no, I mean,
it might be real people, but I don't feel like it's going to be, like, people that's going to be, like, really interested in your stuff though.
It might be, and so here's why. Like all the other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they all have this already. It's just called marketing. You make good stuff, you pay to boost it. TikTok has it. You pay to boost your video. If your video's good, it will attract followers. If your video's not, it won't. So it really depends on the streamer. You gotta like imagine if like
no, what I was saying though is I don't feel like it like oh yeah, you boosted it, but I feel like okay, little Harry over there is gonna get pushed to him, and he's not even gonna be like, why is this girl popping up on my?
So I don't even care so much for that feature. What I would like to see is like the quality. if they did like a For You type content page where they, you cut clips and it went to the page, everybody would be busting their butt to make quality content. Like TikTok, because it would be on that For You page.
I feel like there should be something there for like them to interact, like whether it be a like button or whatever else, because you could get these cute little personalized ads on your screen, like, oh, this is you have liked 6 clips of this person. They are live right now. Would you like to go? Pretty much, like that would be pretty cool.
Twitch, if you're listening, I know I'm just a pastor, I'm a pastor and a stay-at-home mom, but if you're watching, because we are, because this is an amazing podcast, take our advice and then pay us for it. We'll take a 50-50 split. So then,
we need like one of those like the old music you used to download on your PC and stuff, and like you'd hear like Doluca Heights in the background or something. We need one in the back of ours that's like thebestpodcast.com. Because that's our website.
Don't get me wrong. I wish YouTube did some stuff too. I think YouTube gaming's a W as well. I don't think right now they're a W. I think long term they're going to be a W. But what I think YouTube should do is, you already have people go to your page to watch YouTube videos, right? Like we have a YouTube for the So let's imagine you and I streamed off of the Respawn YouTube, right? The Respawn podcast YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. We already have people coming to watch the podcast, right? Let's say you were live and somebody clicks your video to watch your podcast. I think YouTube should have a freaking huge banner across it that says Rosa and Steven are live. So I can go from your video. If YouTube did that, it would be a game changer for big creators on YouTube.
That's smart too.
I'm telling you, these companies should hire me. I'm for sale. They should hire me. We can make this better.
Put it on your resume.
I will. Pastor, magician,
also
marble gamer, pretends to be
also
CEO.
Smells like cheese.
And so I'll put that in my extra qualities. Speaking of cheese, let's get into some nonsense.
Things about to get crazy!
Just basic nonsense.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Let's go.
We're going to play.
Oh, the music stopped.
I don't know what this is, actually. I don't know what we're going to play. I don't have a name for this. I just thought of these questions, and I want to ask you them, and I want us to debate, because I feel like we're going to argue big time on each of these.
Ooh.
Not even going to wait. Here's number 1. Is cereal soup? Why or why not? I want you to prove your point. Because it is. It's soup. Cereal is soup. And if you say it's not...
I don't really have an opinion right now. Why do you think it's soup?
Why isn't it soup? It's liquid. You eat it in a bowl. How is it not soup?
So you're telling me if I go get some milk and pour it in a bowl and with a spoon and just sip on some milk, that's soup?
Yes.
That's liquid in a bowl.
That's soup. That's literal soup. If you pour milk, no. Milk by itself, no, because that's just juice. That's liquid.
Okay,
like
so then your point is invalid. Thank you.
No, but cereal with milk,
I know,
is a soup. You can't prove that it's not. You can't. Give me one. I can tell you're trying right now to debate this right now. You can't. Because it is.
I don't know. I feel like soup is already like a liquidy substance.
What the heck is
cereal? Is not. Cereal is dry. The only thing that's making it liquidy is the milk.
That's
added.
Literally every soup that has meat in it.
But where do you combine those ingredients, butthead?
What do you mean?
On the oven. On the stove. That's where you make the liquid.
You can't have a cold soup? There's no such thing as a cold soup?
You can have a cold soup. But are you mixing that stuff in the bowl that you're eating in?
I think you could.
I mean,
why can't you?
I guess. You can have that one.
Let us know in the comments. Is cereal soup?
I don't know, man.
The obvious answer is it's soup. 100% soup.
No, it's not obvious. It's just kind of like I see it, but I also don't.
This takes me to my next one. Is hot dog a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Why or why not?
Yes.
See, I don't think that it is.
Of course you don't. I feel like it is.
Why do you think it's a sandwich?
Bun, meat.
Okay, here's why it's not a sandwich for sure. When you make a sandwich, right, you have the bread, the meat or whatever you're putting, and there's a decent separation between the first bread and the second layer of bread. They are usually not together, right?
So you're telling me just because the bottom of the hot dog is creased.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. I'm also realizing why I'm shooting myself in the foot by saying that. But that is exactly what I'm telling you. I'm sticking to it because I'm confident.
You can hold that L.
I don't think it's a sandwich.
Next.
Okay, this last one is going to require a little bit more from you. You could build a superhero, but they only had 3 weird superpowers. I have not thought about this either.
Why is it gotta be weird?
It's gotta be weird. Like, it can't be like he has super strength, or she's, she can run fast. Weird superpowers, what would they be? Go.
This one's gonna require some brain movement. The ability to tell if someone likes dogs.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 1.
That's a good one.
Because then I'm gonna know whether I like you or not.
That's smart. That's a good one. I didn't think about that. I got one. Here, we can just go back and forth so you can think more. I want my superhero to uncontrollably sweat nonstop.
That is such a weird one.
So like he or she is gonna have to change their shirt at least 7 times a day.
That's your superhero?
They're gonna, number one, they're gonna uncontrollably sweat.
I wouldn't want to even be seen with your superhero.
All right, next, what's yours? I want somebody in the comments to tell me whose superhero is better in a fight.
Well, I'm over here logically thinking. You're over here like, how can I make this as ridiculous as possible?
No, that would be great.
Tell me the logic behind making somebody uncontrollably sweat.
You know what they could do with all that liquid? That's a ton of liquid. Okay. We're stuck. First of all, we're stuck in a boat, but there's no water around us, so we can't push the boat. No worries. Steven's superhero.
Why would you be in a boat that's not in water anyway?
I don't know, but if I was, I'd be happy to be with my superhero instead of yours.
Oh.
Just run a couple laps.
My superhero wouldn't even be in the question because he has a brain.
Okay, what's next? What's next for your smart superhero?
I want my superhero to have like super crazy map awareness. Wherever they are at like all times. Like you could drop them right in little town in West Virginia and he would know like where all the food joints were, all the best hospitals, all this, all that, like no matter where you put him in the Bermuda Triangle, he would know where that boat was, that it literally is not in water.
Okay.
That you were in.
Okay.
That's 2.
That's kind of cool.
My last one's got to be like.
Okay. I want my superhero to have super strength, like the strongest strength you could think of.
You said that wasn't allowed.
Wait. But the second they go to flex a muscle, like to actually use it, they pass out. So they're gonna be super strong, but every time they go like push something, they just pass out.
I feel like I really looked into this question. so much.
So they're gonna sweat like crazy, and then they're gonna be like, "Let me move the boat," and then pass out.
Sounds like an amazing superhero.
It's great. There's gonna be a comic book written any
It
day
doesn't
now.
sound like he's saving you at all, to be honest. You're already in a boat with no water. His liquid might save you, but I mean, what's he gonna do when you guys start trying to row the boat? He's gonna be like,
Keep going. Ball's in your court.
huh?
Ball's in your court.
My last one is I don't want my superhero to have a stomach.
The way you said
He can't get hungry.
I don't want him to have a stomach.
He can't have a stomach. He don't feel hunger. He does not feel. Wait. Let me reword it. He does not have a hunger or thirst need. He don't ever get hungry. He don't ever get thirsty. That man's just going. He's going. He's got map awareness.
He's gonna pass out because he's not gonna know that he's hungry.
No.
How's he gonna eat?
He doesn't. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't eat or drink. He doesn't need to.
What?
There's no. He doesn't have.
No,
he doesn't
you
have
can't
that need.
use that. So you're saying, wait. What you're saying is.
Okay, let's just make mine fart uncontrollably.
What you're saying is your superhero can always survive without food, without nutrients.
Yes, he does not require food or
power.
water.
That's a dope power.
Thank you.
How is that weird? L on the
Is that
flag.
not a weird request? You laughed as soon as I said it.
We'll let the comments decide. They're gonna be on my
laughed
side.
as soon as I said it. He doesn't have a stomach or like thirst indicator
Okay.
at all, and he doesn't suffer by not doing it. You're just mad because you put weird requests and I put some weird ones out there, but they still fit and they made a dope superhero.
No, my superhero is awesome.
You take
my superhero is way cooler. Okay, my last thing would be for my superhero is I feel like it needs to be something that involves others. Like
he also smells like cheese.
No. I feel like my superhero has to know if you're lying. But every time he senses that somebody's lying, he farts. So that'll be his tell sign.
I wish I had that.
There's a lot of physical things happening with my guy.
Not really like
he'll fart. He
that's
just
really
uncontrollably farts every time somebody. You know how many times people lie
that's
though?
That's not really that weird. That's actually a good one.
Kind of weird.
I was gonna come up with something to do with lying too, but then I was like, oh, I'm not trying to make him too like superstitious. Like, oh, she doesn't like dogs. Oh, he's lying. Like.
Okay, guys, let us know in the comments whose superhero is better. If you have not dropped a review, drop it in the comments or on YouTube or drop it on Apple Podcasts or in the music platforms. Make sure you guys share the podcast. We appreciate you guys. This was another episode. Did you hear
Share
that?
it with your friend.
Just drop something.
If you have a friend out there that sweats uncontrollably, please send this to them.
Or that
way
farts
they vote for
uncontrollably.
my superhero.
Farts uncontrollably.
Well, they're gonna see that you said that was a weird superpower, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, her
They're gonna be
superhero is better."
empowered.
They're gonna vote for mine.
Movie coming out soon. Mine's gonna be called Bioman.
I don't know what I would call mine. Probably better than
Bio
yours.
Girl.
That's his name.
Wow.
Just better
really
than
went
yours.
there.
I did.
It's been an emotional
throttle.
week for our friendship. You really went there.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Hey, we love you guys. Thank you guys again for jumping into the
Thank
podcast.
you guys.
We'll catch you guys on the next episode.
See you next time, mates.
That was another episode of the Respawn Podcast. Don't cry. You can stay in touch with Rosa and Pastor Steven on their live streams right on Twitch. Don't forget to follow them on social media to stay in touch. We'll see you on the next episode.